Hi, I'm Sean Morris, president of Schima, an electronics store we run online out of Oneonta, New York. Today I've got our flagship battery system to show you. Now, this isn't for sale on the website yet, but we've had some success with it. We've rented it out to film a bunch of television shows and commercials, and I'm just going to talk about it briefly because if some of you have been on the website or seen some of our other videos, you're wondering why are these components here? Those components are there because of this system. This is a 2.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery. It's in 24 volts. It's in a very, very rugged seahorse case. It's a diving case. We've made some custom parts for it to make it as functional as it is, and some of those parts are for sale on Schima as well. But what I'm really going to do real quick is just show you how this thing works. I'm going to talk a little bit about our inverter and just give you a taste of what we were capable of doing with the parts and components you're going to find on our website. All right, so this battery has GBS cells, these big lithium iron phosphate cells we get from Elite Power in it. To turn this thing on, all you got to do is push that button. There's a key switch on the side for safety purposes for storing and shipping the battery, but when you've got that key turned on, all you've got to do is push this button. That's going to turn your battery on. It's a really easy to understand gauge in the front. This thing will display the percentage of the battery remaining, your voltage, and the current of the load that you're supplying electricity to. A couple other buttons on here is an error reset and a display mode. The display mode, when you press it, will let you see the statistics for each one of the cells. So you can see the temperature of the cell, the voltage of the individual cell. There's a buzzer in here so that you can have an alarm go off when the battery gets low. We've equipped it with a button that allows you to turn that buzzer on and off. So if you were trying to use this to film in a remote location, it's not going to interrupt your filming. Like everything that we use, it's got an SB175 Anderson connector. We use these large rugged Anderson connectors because they are practically indestructible. I'm going to just plug this SB175 into this battery real quick. It's really easy and you can't mess it up. The way that these things are keyed, you can't short this out. That easy. Now that's going to supply power to this 4-port inverter. You can see up on the front here where the other end of the cable's plugged in, there are 4 different ports. That means we can plug 4 batteries into this inverter at one time. So this 2.5 kilowatt hour battery plugged into this inverter with 3 of its brothers is a 10 kilowatt hour system. That's a lot of capacity for one person to be able to move by themselves, which was kind of the thought process behind this when we started working on it. One person can move this entire system into place, operate it, break it down, and move it again by themselves. Because it's set up like luggage with these handles, it's really, really, really easy to transport and move around. It's not super heavy. Each one of these batteries weighs about 70 pounds. I can get them in and out of the trunk of my car. Now, to get the 110 AC out of our 4-port inverter here, we used an L530 twist lock. These L530 twist locks, they're impossible to yank out. So if you trip over this or somebody accidentally pulls on this cable, it's not going to interrupt your load. It's not going to come out of there. It was just another thought that we put into this, especially when people are trying to use these things to film. So let me plug that in. Now inside this box is a 4 kilowatt hour, a 4,000 watt inverter. That 4,000 watt inverter takes a couple seconds to kick on, but when it does, you can see that that light lit up down there. The paralleling system that we use so that you can plug in multiple batteries allows you to hot swap. So if we had 2 batteries plugged in, we could unplug one, take it and go charge it without interrupting the load, which is also a really useful feature. That hot swap capability, if you plug 2 batteries in here, you've got 5 kilowatt hours of power. You can have 2 batteries charging or already charged, and you can swap them in and start to rotate those so that you never interrupt your load using these batteries, this system. So that's really all there is to it. It's a really, really simple system. A couple of things we want to do in the near future that you're going to see show up on Schima. This 4-port inverter, the paralleling system in the bottom that allows us to connect all those batteries, we're going to bring that to you as a standalone system that we're going to sell on the website so you could set up your own paralleled hot swappable battery system or junction any large DC source, because really that's what it is. It's a high voltage DC junction. So you want to plug in a couple of wind turbines into this thing, you should be able to handle that. And with the batteries, we might not have the batteries in the near future on Schima, But that battery management system in a slightly modified form, standalone for consumers, we're gonna have that on there as well. But most of the components that you're gonna see inside one of these systems are available on Schima. And as I make more videos and bring you more content, I hope that we can show some of the different uses for this, some of the components and some of the thought processes that went into what components we picked to build it. So Schima just started. We've only been around for, what, 2 weeks now? Feels like a lot longer. We're trying to build a social media presence. We're trying to get out there and market. Really, a lot of what we've done so far with this company has been word of mouth. So if you could just like, subscribe, and follow us, share information about us with your friends or anybody else you know that's doing a project that requires batteries, it'd be really appreciated. Thank you.